This government has been closed now for 21 days, and the Democrats have had a chance to reopen it 11 times, and each time they voted no because they're afraid, as what one Democrat Senate staffer said, they're afraid of facing the guillotine of the radical left. And who are the radical left? They are the people who would prefer to use taxpayer dollars to pay for health care for illegal immigrants than to pay for the men and women who keep us safe.
It's day 21 of the Schumer-Jeffrey shutdown, and neither side of the aisle seems to be bending or budging. This as President Trump hosted some Senate Republicans for a lunch in the Rose Garden earlier today. Which side's going to cave first, though? Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator, you are not invited to today's lunch. You posted on X. I was actually invited to the White House. I was not invited to the White House lunch today, but that's okay. I had a previously scheduled Liberty Caucus lunch with Rep. Thomas Massie. Sir, you're a massive fiscal hawk, which I love, but was that why you weren't invited to sit next to Lindsey Graham?
You know, I don't know why I wasn't invited, but it's good to know that I was still on the mind of the president. And even though I wasn't there, he was still thinking about me because I am maybe, you know, a persistent critic of overspending. You know, right now the government shut down, but there are two spending alternatives. The Republican spending alternative, which would add about $2 trillion in debt next year, and the Democrat perspective, which would add $3 trillion. So it isn't that I'm for one or the other, I'm for neither. I think both of them add too much debt. So what I've proposed is something called the penny plan budget that would balance the budget over about a 5-year period. And I think that is a valid and viable and really should be the third option.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I would be firm on the don't spend more money than you take in ever, but you're very reasonable at 5 years. So how long do you think this thing's going to be closed, sir?
I think it opens up pretty soon, and the reason is this. The Republican proposal, the continuing resolution, is the Biden spending levels from December of 2024. So as Biden was leaving office, all of the Democrats voted for the Biden spending levels. They were renewed in March of this year, and now they're identical. So this is an identical bill to something all of the Democrats voted for in December of 2024. So it's hard really to understand any logic why the Democrats wouldn't ultimately vote for this. So typically the way these things end is the big government Republicans vote for the spending with most of the Democrats. And so right now they're resisting, but I think their resolve will weaken over time, particularly as it's pointed out that they've all voted for this spending level in December of last year.
Well, the other thing, too, is we're still more than double the spending levels of Barack Obama's time. So, you know, take that as you will. All right. Remember, I got to get your take on this, sir. You know, speaking of the spending and the budget and all these things, we were promised an audit of the Federal Reserve and the gold in Fort Knox. What the heck ever happened to that?
I'm still fighting for that. It's hard enough just to get a vote. We have had a vote in the last couple of years on auditing the Fed, and we've lost that vote. We get most of the Republicans. I think I got a little over 40 Republicans, and I lost 5 or 10 Republicans. I got 1 or 2 Democrats. So we don't have the votes to pass the legislation to audit the Fed, but it's something I continue to fight for. President Trump did support the issue as a candidate, and I think would still sign the legislation if we were able to get it to his desk. But the problem is we need a little more Democrat support, and we need more unity on the Republican side for it. On the Fort Knox, I've been trying to go down there and see the gold for 14 years. I got permission a few years ago. You have to get the Secretary of the Treasury to approve it, and he or she has to attend. So I had it all set up. They were going to fly down to Kentucky, and lo and behold, they called a week before, and they said, oh, we want to come the following week because we want to see the eclipse. The eclipse is coming through there at the same time, and we thought it'd be great to see the gold and the eclipse at the same time. And I said, I'm going to be out of the country next week. I can't do it. So I didn't get to go down. You may be right. You may be right. But I want an assay test and a quantity count to all of it, and I want to see it. And so we're still working on it, and I've asked the Trump administration to coordinate this. I haven't gotten a response. So we've sent them another letter, and maybe they were discussing this when I wasn't invited today.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll invite me to Fort Knox since I'm not invited to the White House anymore. Maybe they'll invite me to Fort Knox to make up for it. I don't know, but I am still fighting to get it done.
Sir, despite your disagreements with Trump on certain things, I hold you in high regards for your commitment to fiscal sanity, at least. Senator Rand Paul, we appreciate it.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.